Middle East tensions, ladies and gentlemen, are escalating. That is something we've been tracking for the last 6 to 7 hours. We are now hearing from U.S. State Secretary Marco Rubio. He will be dialing in G7 leaders. He wants to discuss the Iran conflict that is currently underway. We have seen a major escalation with Iran striking back and striking hard, not just at American bases that are spread across the Middle East, but also strike cities like Doha. The Dubai airport has been struck. Dubai's best known, most iconic hotel has been struck as well. So Marco Rubio will be holding this call with G7 leaders, is a confirmation that we are now getting in. The entire idea is to speak about what has happened in the last 24 hours. This is something that, again, the American media is now confirming. We are also hearing from the US's Central Command, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that they have just put out. They are saying, and they are essentially giving us a roundup of the first 24 hours of Operation Epic Fury. They are saying the president ordered bold action and our brave soldiers, sailors, airmen, marines, guardians, Coast Guardsmen are answering that call. So this is something that we are hearing from the Americans, from the U.S. Central Command, and we are hearing it from Marco Rubio as well. Now, the call that Rubio is making to G7 leaders is just one of the many calls that have been made by the Americans to leaders across the world. Meanwhile, these pictures coming to us, they are coming to us courtesy the U.S. Central Command that has just put out a post saying this is how we have attacked Iran. They have called their Operation Epic Fury. They have released these videos and pictures showing their strike on Iran. They haven't specified which all areas have come under attack, but they've certainly put out some pictures to back their claim. Let's quickly listen in to what they have said. I continue to be joined by General Dhillon, Dr. Gunter, General Katoch, and Colonel Rafael. Thank you very much. Dr. Gunter, we have spoken about the possibility of a diplomatic solution. Most of our guests have agreed that that is simply not possible given the escalation we have seen. Can I ask you to interpret what Marco Rubio is saying, that he'll be dialing G7 countries? What is the conversation likely to be? Is it about the United States of America explaining to G7 countries why exactly they went in for this strike, or actually calling them to the table and saying, now let's try and get Iran to the talking table to talk?
You know, let me start by saying Marco Rubio is one of the greatest secretaries of state we've ever had. And that absolutely includes others that I've worked under and worked for. I think it's going to be multifactorial. I think it's important that we stay in strong communication with our fellow partners. It's important for them to understand where we are going with all this. And remember, and I learned this from my friend Bush 43, George Bush, so much of diplomacy is trying to get your hands around the neck of your adversary and then telling them exactly what you want in order to get them off. So clearly right now, President Trump and our allies, Israel, are getting our hands around the Iranian leadership. And then ultimately, diplomacy, probably through other partners as well as directly, we will then actually make it clear what we are looking for. Diplomacy is not dead. Diplomacy is never dead. And I believe that it will come sooner than later, and we will see a regime change. And I do not see this as a multi-month long conflict.
But General Katoch, the fact is diplomacy will come into play only if the two sides stop bombing the hell out of each other, which doesn't seem to be happening.
Well, for the next 48 hours or 72 hours, this sort of bombing is going to continue. The Iranians will be hit and they will hit back at the Gulf countries. But I think, I still believe that within Iran, the change is going to take place sooner rather than later. And if the civil society at some point of time can throw up a leadership or even a group leadership, one voice or one face, which can rally them together, then they will be in a position to challenge the IRGC. The IRGC is a very, very strong ideological force, and they will do whatever they, the three-member council so states. But my point is, again, a three-member council can never be effective. That you need one voice. Three voices, I'm not sure as to how they are going to be pulling around. There is going to be a leadership vacuum. And I think that is the most serious problem which is facing Iran now. It is the leadership vacuum. And I hope sooner rather than later, the civil society can settle it down. If they can throw up a leader, then there is a possibility of having a ceasefire, and that leader actually taking over the reins of Iran.
As we speak,
that is the best we can hope for as of now.
Give me a moment here as we speak. As I said, this is only escalating. The U.S. Embassy in Jordan has now issued an advisory. This is a security alert, essentially, which has been put out by the U.S. Embassy. They are saying events and reports indicate missiles, drones, or rockets are in Jordanian airspace, which is why everyone should seek overhead cover and shelter in place immediately. What the U.S. Embassy in Jordan is also saying is remain indoors and pay attention to local announcements and alerts. The U.S. Embassy in Jordan, they say, will continue to review the situation and provide additional information as needed. Yesterday, it was only yesterday that Jordan had condemned Iran's missile strikes and had reaffirmed its solidarity with all Gulf states. Today, we are seeing the Jordanians come under some sort of pressure and attack as well, which is why we are seeing this advisory that has been issued by the U.S. Embassy there. Gentlemen, stay with us. A quick break. We'll be back with more.